We are making our comeback after summer break. I cannot believe it. The kids are only home for about 2 more weeks, and my oldest go back to school, and we have our youngest for another month. So I wanted to stay on top of my recording so that we can make our official return to the podcast as the kids go back to school. And I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. This is going to be a quick episode, and there's going to be some really good stuff in the show notes today. So bear with us because it's going to be a lot of behind the scenes updates, which I know you guys love, and announcements of what to expect for the rest of the year. I cannot believe how fast the time has gone. So here we go. Let's get started. I cannot wait to share some of these juicy details with you guys. Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson, and I help high-performing artists and creative leaders grow and scale communities so that marketing is easy. This podcast combines business tips and real-life experiences in being the creative entrepreneur that we all are. So you're in the right place if you want to leave feeling a little bit more confident and normalize these day-to-day struggles that we all experience as business owners. And you can do this while mastering your marketing so that business is light and easy. I'm so glad you're joining me here where we can get a little bit messy, a little bit creative, and it's okay to be super ambitious. Let's get started. All right, messy, imperfect, unscripted. Here we go. So I have a very quick announcement that the Community Growth Lab is going to be opening for enrollment again very soon. So make sure you check out the show notes. This is episode 122. And you can go to elizabethhenson.co/E122. And to make sure that you don't miss any of the announcements, our free masterclass that's coming up in September, just make sure that you're connected with us on Instagram. Make sure that you have our freebie or are in our community Facebook group called the Community Builder. You will not miss any of that good stuff as long as you are in our network. So we're going to be hosting our free masterclass on how to get your first or next 100 members in your online community. And the doors to the Community Growth Lab are going to be opening for the first time. It has been at least 6 months since we've opened the doors. Longer than that, actually, because I think it was the end of 2022. And we've got some really exciting upgrades happening. So make sure that you stay in the loop for that. We're really excited. If you have no idea what the Community Growth Lab is, it is access to my 5-step methodology that I use to build online communities. And I've done this inside 6, 7, and 8-figure companies, and it works across the board. And my marketing system only takes an hour per week for the best nurturing system that you can create. And it's only an hour per week, and it is going to nurture in between your promotions to grow and scale a community that sees over 40% engagement, and you just cannot get that anywhere else. And if you're a little curious, go back and binge some of my old podcast episodes about Facebook groups and my marketing system and all the things. There are no secrets around here. You can find everything you need on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, and inside our free Facebook group, the Community Builder. Okay, so that was exciting announcement number 1. Exciting announcement number 2, we are starting an Amazon store under the Messy Success brand, and I'm really excited about this. And I know this kind of feels out of left field, but if you've been here for a while, you know that when I was pregnant with Anthony, I created a planner, the Messy Success Manifestation Planner. And it was just a creative project that I did when I was taking time off, but I've done very little to market it, sell it, do much with it. I have sold some, just like every time we post about it on Instagram, we tend to get, a sale or two, which is great, but, it's a planner. So the revenue generated from each planner sold is like, covers a box of tissues or something. It's very little. So I just never felt like I could spend a lot of time on it. But it's always been this little passion project on the side. So of course, you guys know I was taking some time off over the summer. And whenever Liz takes time off, she gets creative and continues to work on things that are outside of the day-to-day. And I got completely immersed into the most incredible community called Rainmakers. And I did their $47 challenge. We're going to also link that up in the show notes for you. It is the best $47 I have spent on online education. It was incredible. Like, I left that challenge knowing that I could start my own Amazon store, and it was only $47. Now, I also knew that this was going to take a little bit more of a commitment than I was mentally prepared for. So I did go ahead and invest in their program, which is absolutely incredible. But I'm just here to tell you that if you have a little bit of interest in Amazon, their $47 challenge is absolutely incredible. So we'll link that up in the show notes as well, just because before I even go too deep on my plan for the Amazon store, I know that everyone's going to be asking that question. And I cannot say enough amazing things about Stephen and Chelsea. They actually used to be wedding photographers as well. So they're very much in our community of creatives, and they're just really incredible, really knowledgeable. They are total givers. They want the world to be a better place. I mean, I signed up for this challenge on a whim, thinking, I'll sign up and I'm not really going to pay attention. I'm just a little bit curious, but I'm not going to pay attention. And you guys, I was watching every single video that's multiple hours, because they have the training and then they have Q&A. I mean, there's so much good content, and I was completely immersed. So that shows you how good of leaders and teachers they are, because usually with my attention span, I expire very quickly if I'm not feeling super inspired and I'm getting what I need. So the Rainmaker community is absolutely incredible. We'll link that up in the show notes. And I am in the very beginning stages. So I don't really anticipate our Amazon store being live, or these products that I'm working on, mostly the planner, being live for another few months. So that is coming down the pipe. It's going to take a little while. So I think I'll be lucky if I have the planner really up and going by Christmas. But I would say that is definitely my goal, because we all know that planners sell well in the new year. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. I just got the product validated by my coach in the program, which basically means that, it's a good product that we think will perform well on Amazon. And there's just so much to it that I'm not going to go into, but that was a really long and daunting process. And I'm really glad to be past phase 1, so I can now move into phase 2, which is the sourcing. But luckily, since my planner's already been designed and created, I'm way ahead in that part of the process. So that's just something really excited that I wanted to share with you guys. It has very little to do with what I usually talk about on here, but a lot of you guys that listen to the podcast have been with me for a long time. So you know about the planner, you know about my creative outlets, and it will be of no surprise to you guys, because I've always kind of dabbled in products and merch, knowing I wanted to do something in that arena, but not really, taking time for it. So yay for that. We already, luckily own the trademark for this podcast, the Messy Success Podcast, but we decided to brand everything under Messy Success for the Amazon store. So to be continued. There may be some changes or adjustments, and I will share them all on here if that interests you guys. But I'm just really excited. It's something that I can do with my kids. It's a business model that can be passed down to my kids. It's, something that's bigger than me. That's not just Elizabeth Henson. So very excited and empowered about that project. Okay, announcement number 3, I guess. Our team is kind of growing and expanding, which is really exciting. Shout out to Beth, who is helping us with social media for this Community Growth Lab launch. And I am bringing on like this little handful of my friends who just want to learn some about the entrepreneur space. So they're going to be jumping into my business and kind of shadowing us and learning from Amanda and learning from Sarah and just really getting their feet wet in this like entrepreneur world. And if that is you, and maybe you're listening to this podcast because you just know me and you're not in the entrepreneur space, like allow yourself to be curious, because I'll bring Jamie on the podcast sometime, but her journey is incredible, where she had, a corporate job in Miami, making a really good living, and she was able to quit and work fractionally, I would say as like a consultant inside some like online law firms. And she's like making more than she was making at a job that she spent her entire life, on education for. And she's happy and she's able to pick up her kids from school. Of course, I would never push this lifestyle on anybody, but if you're curious, then just pay attention. Reach out to us. We are always an open book. I mean, this podcast, you guys know, I'm completely open and vulnerable and share everything with you guys. And I'm the same way in my business, in the same way behind the scenes. I'm a creative mess, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I do feel like I went through a phase last year of resistance where I had to be a certain way, to be successful. And I kept telling myself that my creativity was getting in the way, that my ambition was getting in the way. I mean, I feel like I almost wrote a book about my ambition, kind of holding me back, feeling paralyzed by my ambition at times. And I flipped the script and decided to embrace everything that makes me me, which is being creative, which is being a little bit messy, which is like having my hands in a lot of different creative pots. But I've gotten so good at managing my time, at managing my energy, that when I take on a new project like this Amazon project, like I am very careful and intentional about when I work on it. So I'm not allowing it to consume, and override current projects in my business. The Amazon project only takes about 4 hours a week, especially in the beginning when you're getting started, and then it really tapers down. So it is not anything that's going to make or break, my ability to show up for my commitments. And I've gotten really good at that skill of budgeting my time. So all that to say, I feel like I had a little bit of what something that feels like a flaw can actually be a superpower. And I want you to look at yourself that same way. If there's a characteristic or a quality about you that you're resenting, that you're uncomfortable with, that you feel like is holding you back, how can you leverage that as a superpower, right? And we're always working on ourselves. We always want to be better. I always am striving to be the best version of myself and, reach my highest good on a daily basis. But that doesn't mean that I have to be so mean to myself, right? Like, shame on you for being so creative, right? Like that does not serve the future that I want to create. And, thank my amazing teacher and coach, James Wedmore, for always reminding me of that when I need that reminder. And that's another exciting announcement, you guys. I am an official Business by Design coach. I was kind of sitting on the bench. I know you guys that listen to the podcast, you're like, didn't you do that already a couple years ago? Yes. So I came on board on James's team in 2020. But the project that he had me coaching, they were no longer implementing. So I was kind of like on the bench and had to go through the application process again. And I officially am a Business by Design coach inside the community, their Facebook community. And it just means that I get to work very closely with James, which is such an honor. And I learn so much every single time I get to work with him and learn from him. And can't say enough about that. So very incredible. I will link his podcast as well in the show notes. If you guys have never heard of James or have no idea who I'm talking about, I'll link his podcast in the show notes. It's called the Mind Your Business Podcast. He's just an incredible teacher. I can't say enough. And we had our biggest launch yet over there on Business by Design. I'm on that launch team as well. And so that was really incredible for the month of June to be part of. So what else? We went on 3 family vacations this summer. 2 of them my husband did not go to, but I decided that instead of paying for the kids to go to camp, that I was going to just get an Airbnb and take them on a trip. We went to see my aunt in Charlottesville, and then we just had our week-long summer vacation in Emerald Isle, North Carolina. And so we went on 3 big trips. So that was 1 trip each month for the summer, which was incredible. And because I work remotely, it was something I was really excited and happy to do. Where I'll say the learning curve came in was it's just not always as easy to work when you're traveling as you envision it, right? Like I just envision myself on my laptop while like my kids are playing or relaxing, and it's just not that easy. Because when you're traveling, your kids don't sit and relax quite as much. And then when they do, there's usually something that needs to be done, or I want to relax because I'm on vacation and there's beautiful views and all the things. So I will say I wasn't quite as productive as I would have liked to have been on some of those trips, but it was time well spent. I'll be sharing some pictures pretty soon. And it was really just a wonderful, wonderful summer. And now we're gearing up for back to school, which I know you guys are too. So let's end today with a frequently asked question. All right, so I just pulled a question. These are directly from the Community Builder Facebook group, the questions that people ask to enter. It's like one of my favorite ways to develop content directly from what my community needs. So lovely Abigail asked, how do you create a group and not be the center of attention? I love this question, and it's just asked in a different way. A lot of times people will ask, how do I get my members to ask more questions? How do I get my group to run without me? But how do I lead a group without being the center of attention? I love it. So my answer to this question would be, make sure the mission is not about you, or that it's bigger than you. And the group is actually about the mission and not about us or you, right? Let me think of a good example. When you think of, political groups or groups about unpopular opinions, or even a group around a medical condition, or a group about motherhood, right? These are all groups that are about topics that are strong enough that people are going to jump in those groups and share their own opinions and connect with each other. So while it feels like our little business might feel small, the key is that the group is about the mission. The group is not about us, right? My group is about groups. So my group is to help entrepreneurs and business owners who have Facebook groups or online communities use those groups in a way that marketing is easy. And yes, I am in my group quite a bit, and you'll see my face in my group. Yes. So I wouldn't say I'm like the perfect example of someone who's accomplishing this, but I will say the overall intent of my group is not about me. It is not me jumping in there and sharing every detail of my vacation. Half the time I'm on the road and I don't even tell my group I'm on the road. It is not about my kids. It is not about my day-to-day life. It is not even really about my business coaching. It is about groups and marketing and tips and tricks. And I share how to change the thumbnail of a video in your Facebook group. And I share conversation starters, and I give people opportunities to share about their groups. So even though I'm facilitating the group, I would not say that I'm the center of attention. The center of attention is the mission and the purpose, which is helping people use their groups to, accomplish their mission, accomplish their goals, to get more leads and sales, to build community around a purpose. That's what my group is really about. But you will see in a lot of these groups that are totally running without the facilitator, it's because people are in there for the purpose, the mission, the reason behind the group rather than just the leader. Okay. So some groups are personally branded. So my friend Angie, who I've had on the podcast multiple times, her name is in the title of her group. So while I wouldn't necessarily be like, she's the center of attention, she has very much a personal brand and that name recognition. So that's a little bit different. But a lot of groups do not. And actually, I usually tell my clients not to put your name in the title of the group, because if you're wanting to attract strangers or you're wanting to attract people who do not know you, it's going to be more beneficial to not have your name. Because, SEO and all the things. Nobody's searching for the Elizabeth Henson Facebook community, right? But they might be searching for how to build a Facebook group or how to build a community, which would lead them to the community builder. So I hope that is helpful. Abigail, thank you for asking that. You're incredible. Thanks for being part of our community. And we will see you guys next week on the Messy Success Podcast. Don't forget to check out the show notes, because we've got a lot of good links in there for you today. You can make sure that you're connected to us on Instagram, inside the Community Builder on Facebook. Make sure that you are on our list to hear about the Community Growth Lab opening up again, so you can get access to that 5-step methodology to grow your online community. And I will obviously link the Rainmaker community, James's podcast, and whatever else I forgot. So I hope you guys have the best week, and we will see you soon.